Secret friends, unite!
Hey, secret friends, welcome back to Oops, All Thunderdome. This is the shortened and more exciting version of our main program where we just we topple, yes, we're toppling regimes, that's what we're doing. We tackle a single topic of the week, and there is no bigger topic this week than what is now likely to be one of the biggest films of all time, certainly one of the biggest openings. We are talking this week about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Everything has led to this. We've been talking about Spider-Man movies over the last several months. We've covered four movies in our summer of Spider-Man, and it's gotten to this point. So I am super psyched, not only to talk about this movie, but also to talk about it with my Spider panel of experts. To my left, to my extreme left, is my friend Kurt. Kurt, good afternoon.
Hey, Charlie.
And we have our international Spider fan, Andi from Norway. Andi, hello.
Hi, guys.
And as always, my number two, Mr. Peter Stein. We went and saw the movie again last night. It was again for me. I've seen it twice last night. But Peter, hello again.
Hello.
All right. Okay, now I got Alexa talking to me. Knock it off. I should hit mute. Computer off. So annoying. I think we need to refrain from saying hello. But anyway, yes, let's talk about Spider-Man. You guys, I'm fired up. This movie is blowing the world up right now with its box office. It's nuts. I haven't even seen the Sunday approximation, but we'll get into numbers in a minute. But yeah, the movie is, of course, 2026 superhero film about Spider-Man. We have a new director. We have Destin Daniel Cretton, who also directed Shang-Chi. Peter, I know that one's a favorite of yours. Yes. Coming back to the MCU. Written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. Tom Holland is, of course, back as Spider-Man along with Zendaya. Sadie Sink in a mystery role. Look at my air quotes. Jacob Batalon. John Bernthal as the Punisher. Florence Pugh, which was a total surprise to me, as Black Widow. Tremel Tillman, who was in, the hell was that show I didn't finish watching? Severance. He was one of the characters in there. I don't know if anybody's checked that show out. It was good, but it lost me. Marissa Tomei and Mark Ruffalo. The film, Peter anonymously protects New York City as the hero Spider-Man and investigates a powerful new threat while his superpowers undergo a surprising, potential dangerous evolution. The producers wanted Holland's Peter to have a proper Spider-Man for the first time. Thank you. That's going to be one of my big notes I was very excited about. On his own and fighting street-level crime in New York City. Ahead of filming, Bernthal and Ruffalo revealed to be reprising their roles as Frank Castle, the Punisher, and Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Filming took place from August to December 2025, with location filming in Glasgow, Scotland, and throughout England. Soundstage work occurred at Pinewood Studios in England, so nothing filmed in New York. That's kind of crazy because I didn't get that. I mean, some of the previous Spider-Man films, really the Andy Garfield films in particular, I think were real guilty of trying to pass LA off as New York, and it just did not work for me. So this was some serious photographic figure. I was impressed. The film was released here in the United States on July 31. Andy got to see it on Wednesday, which I'm super jealous because that was obviously the international release as part of Phase 6 of the MCU. The film has received generally positive reviews from critics, praising Holland's performance, the emotional depth, action sequence, and Cretton's direction. It has grossed $169 million. Now, this says worldwide, but as Peter and I were talking about last night, that's the domestic number. We don't have a worldwide number right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about numbers in a minute. And it's broken several box office records for an opening weekend. All right, 90% on the tomato meter. The critics love this movie, which I'm down with. 98% popcorn meter. So 98% of audiences out there polled said they love this film. That's not around every corner and happen every day. That's kind of crazy. More numbers. Budget is an estimated $225 million. So this is where the numbers get a little fuzzy. The domestic opening weekend is $168 million. Now that is Thursday and Friday. Okay. That's what they did on Thursday and Friday. That's nuts. So we don't know about Saturday. We don't know about today, but they usually by the end of Sunday have a projected number. So we'll have that number. The number could be done already by the time we're done talking here. Estimated range. This is where I was extrapolating a little bit. This came from Sony. On the low end, $325 million domestic and $925 million worldwide. So almost $1 billion. Opening weekend. Endgame didn't do that. This is going to knock out Endgame, which is it's neck and neck for one. I think the second Avatar film for the biggest box office of all time. It's crazy. There's a lot of stuff going on here that we're going to talk about. But all right, as we usually do when we talk about a new film, we're going to do my Marquise of Queensberry rules. We're going to go no spoilers to start with. We're going to give a non-spoilery 1 to 10 rating, and then the floodgates will open, and it's going to be spoiler-orific. So I'm going to go right to left, because I usually go left to right, and I'm going to start with Peter. Peter, non-spoilers, your rating out of 10. Fire away.
So without spoilers, my rating would probably be... I think I'm going to give this one 8.9.
Ooh, we're big into fractions today.
Yeah, just feeling fractional. So I really did like a lot of the stuff in here. So it like lots there. We were talking about it. I made little comments while we were watching the film last night. But like there were some really good emotional payoffs in this film. And so I think that the writing was generally pretty solid. Especially for those of us who listened to us talking about the movie before this one, I had some gripes.
Some reservations, yes, indeed.
Yeah, so this one actually, this one kind of capitalized on those and did something interesting with it. So, yeah, cool. I liked and seeing all the different characters that some I wasn't expecting, some I was, but it did a good job.
Yeah, most def. All right, Andy, 1 out of 10, no spoilers.
Well, I think since I gave the last one an 8.5, I'm going to give this one an 8.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's a very solid, good movie. But the thing is, there's a lot in it, and we'll get into that. And I think, for me, it didn't all sort of mesh together.
Okay.
I think they did a little too much. Maybe.
Gotcha.
But again, It's an 8. It's good.
Yeah. 80%. It's a B. Kurt.
I'm going to give it
1 to
9.
10. No spoilers. Sorry.
A 9.
Okay. Tell me why.
It was just a good, fun film. It was a good Spidey film. Perhaps it was the best Spidey film in the Tom Holland era. And it moved quickly, and there was a lot of disparate elements that they balanced, in my opinion, quite well.
Right. This is rare for me, and I did this earlier when we were recording Code 47. I was talking about one of the newer episodes of Stranger Worlds. Very rare for me to give something a 10 out of 10, but I did for this film. Flaws aside, this was what I've wanted since I was 10 years old. Street level, 70s and 80s style Spider-Man, fighting the villains in the street, Peter Parker having a crappy life, always getting things wrong, nothing's going his way. And particularly the Easter egg heaven in the first 10 minutes, which we've seen in the trailers of all these little weird villains he's fighting. And I love that. And, it gives us a story. And again, we have kind of the worst kept secret of the villain. Peter coined it. He said the worst kept secret villain since John Harrison, which was from Star Trek Into Darkness. Oh, who could it possibly be? But it did a great balancing of kind of walking the line for me between the MCU and the comics that I've always wanted, and this just gave me kind of where I needed to itch. So good stuff, absolutely great stuff. All right, well now go left to right. Let's talk about. And the release on the hoses on the spoiler hoses pulled back. Full spoilers. Kurt, talk to me about some of the things you loved about this film. Fire away. Give me a couple.
Okay, I've talked about this before. I said I'm not a big fan of Holland as Spidey because he babbles all the time. In this movie, he did a good job. He didn't babble. He grew up. I enjoyed that very much. I enjoyed how he was finally getting the praise he never gets. He has an ally on the police force, Captain DeWolf.
Nice. Yeah.
And I enjoyed his relationship with the Punisher. It shouldn't have worked, but it did.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally. Especially, and Kurt and I talked just a few weeks back about the 1 hour one shot Punisher One Last Kill, which we hated because of its just extremely gratuitous violence. This was not that character at all. It was the Punisher, but it was not that character at all. You know, the Punisher was used for punctuation as opposed to being a sledgehammer across your face.
Exactly.
I think they really did it right. All right, let's ping over to Andy. Andy, something you loved.
Yeah, I'm gonna still keep with the Frank and Peter relationship.
Please.
They played off each other so well. That is one of the many elements that I thought they really were good at, like how much we're paying attention to this. And yeah, that was really, really good. And I liked how we're, keeping Aunt May's memory alive and how important that is. And yeah, that's just a couple of things that were cool.
Cool. Peter.
So a couple things that I liked. I'm gonna echo everybody else. I really, really liked Frank and Peter's interactions in this movie. I haven't seen a lot of the show of Punisher, so I'm not as familiar with his live action version. But I really, really liked this version of the Punisher and how he had there was just a lot of just ridiculous moments between him and Peter that were hilarious.
Yeah.
Where it was just like Peter would say something like, "Oh, what are you doing that for?" Like it was just all this.
Yeah, what are you doing? For guys of you. It was very Italian neighborhood guy,
yeah,
Brooklyn guy.
Oh, you're down there. And watch out for the claymores. I don't want to pick up your pieces all over the place. Like just being a dork, and I loved it.
Yeah.
At the hospital though, that was also very sweet. And
that was that may have been the best scene between the two of them was at the end. And then it was like, I've got a way. And then just the way that he had was just over the top stupid.
And it's funny, he was waving, but he's also going, and making noises and just being like, what are you doing?
So I really liked that. And I also did like I have mixed thoughts about it, but I did enjoy the callback and struggle with the new powers or the augmented powers, I suppose. So I liked how they kind of addressed that and brought like the physical struggle into Peter's mental struggle that's always been part of the character, at least from my understanding of like, who do you want to be, Pete? Do you want to be Spider-Man or do you want to be Peter Parker? And his answer was cool, but he's still going to have that fight in the next couple films. I know that's going to still be a thing.
Right.
It's not over yet.
And it never goes away in the comics too, because he's always finding a way to. Aunt May's in the hospital. I got to get there, but the Green Goblin showed up and he knocked me out and stuff. So I had to get there to sign a form. This was an exact issue in the 70s because I'm almost finished my. I have to get there to sign a form so she can go into surgery. But the Green Goblin literally caught him on the way and kept him from getting to the hospital and stuff. So Aunt May's life is in peril.
Yeah, so it doesn't go away, but I did like how they addressed it in this film.
Yeah, agreed. I love now bouncing off of not only the Punisher, but then also thinking about Yelena, who we are now calling the Black Widow, which that was the great surprise that I didn't know anything about. Virtually everything else has been telegraphed and revealed, even just by watching a trailer here and there. It's been kind of revealed, so-and-so's going to be in this movie. We knew Banner was going to be in this movie. But I loved how all three of those characters, so Punisher, Yelena, and then Banner, were actual supporting characters. They came in, they did a thing, they went away for a while. Maybe they came back, but like Banner, he was, he was the exposition hub in the beginning. Then he was gone. Then the Hulk came in, did his thing, and then he was gone. And it wasn't like, let's also have a big story for the Hulk. Let's have a big emotional arc for the Punisher. Let's over-involve Yelena. They didn't do any of that.
No, Punisher and Yelena were very well done. Hulk, I'm like, I don't feel he landed that quite right because it just ends with him in the hospital. And I'm
right.
I have thoughts about
Hulk. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah, he went away, and then they said, well, he's being evaluated and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, you're right. They did leave something that will have to be addressed, I would assume, in Doomsday or ultimately in Secret Wars, because the character's not going anywhere. But you're right. He's in a different place. We also kind of join him as the fact that he's in... he's teaching at ESU, which is great kick out for ESU because that came from the comics. That was Peter's alma mater, which I don't feel like has been referenced since then, but that's your NYU knockoff that they have in the Spider-Man universe. But I was really good. I feel like they set him up. They brought, the Hulk in particular back to dangerous level that, like you saw him in his early films. And then they were done with him. And then they moved on to other parts of the story. He fulfilled his need in the story, and then kind of moved on from there. And I really like that. So,
Charlie, one thing,
yes, sir,
about the
yes,
Hulk,
please.
When you see him last, it's like, did I do all this? He wouldn't be put in the back of an ambulance. S.H.I.E.L.D. would be putting him in some kind of...
Or somebody. Yeah, right.
It wouldn't be EMTs. It would be S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, exactly. It would be... Yeah, that did. Yeah, that's definitely a nit to be picked. So, yeah, I love Ned was great in the movie, and we saw and we called back to the fact that he's still magic, because that was our capper at the end of the film. Is that by doing the special secret handshake, the secret woodchuck handshake, his magical, his magical whatever now remembers that he knows Peter is, or we're left to believe that we could go in that direction. And I thought that was pretty great.
I don't think it's implying that his memory's back, but it was the realization that whatever it connected Spider-Man to the face, and then also whatever MJ told him, because we don't know what she told him.
Spider-Man's name is Peter? That was pretty. Yeah. That was pretty random. What did you guys think of the stinger? I think it meant a lot to me. I think it's probably alluring to people who don't really know what's coming, like people who don't follow things as closely as we do, because it could mean a lot of different things, right? That could be Peter leaving Earth to be in space, which we know is coming. Or what if it's not our Peter? What if that's somewhere on? What if that's one of the other Peters being beamed to the magical place that we all know that is going to be for the future of this film? I don't know. What do you guys think? Where do you stand with that? What's the dot on the spider trace tracker that's out in space? Who is it? Peter's 1, 2, or 3? Or is it all 3?
Or Miles?
It's 2.
I think it's
or Miles. 2. Right. You think it's 2. Andy, what about you?
I'm not sure. I'm just curious to see what happens in Doomsday.
Battle World. Oh, good stuff. All right. Well, there's no perfect film, even though I called it a perfect film. But let's talk a little bit about missed opportunities, weird plot holes, etc. Kurt, we'll go back to you.
Okay, a couple of things. There was no Jameson in this, and you know what? Maybe that's for the best. Because
maybe he died. Maybe he died or was disgraced. No, I'm seriously.
Because there was a lot. There was a lot, and I don't think that would have fit. But, I thought, I was avoiding all the spoilers and all that. I didn't know it was Jean. I was trying to figure out what Spidey villain can do this. And then it was Jean, and that was fine. Although she's like 25 years younger and Cyclops coming up in Doomsday, but that's another issue.
Well, yeah, that's a different Earth Cyclops. So you're thinking of James Marsden. Yes. So yeah, not the same, not 616.
This is what I didn't like. Okay, he gets shot by Frank, and that nearly kills him. But he's taking repeated blows to the head and chest from the Hulk, and
I know,
drugging him off. Come on.
And after that gunshot, he hobbles out of the hospital one day later, because even Frank says, "Yeah, they had to cut the suit off you yesterday when you came in." I'm like, "Oh, that happened in less than like 24 hours."
Oh, I thought they said it was like a couple days.
Oh, okay. Well, all of that happened within 48 hours.
I thought it was like 3 or 4 days.
Okay, that makes more sense. But
the Hulk should have killed him. Those
God, he was flipping him around and smashing the sides of buildings and shit. Yeah, there's definitely no economies of scale with how the Hulk can mess people up because, I mean, some like the Hulk in like the Ultimate Universe is a cannibal, right? Like, so you remember those? He's like, oh yeah, or even in Age of Ultron, he's tearing those robots apart by biting them. So the Hulk is a biter. So I guess it's a good thing that didn't happen. Oh my God, Andy, how about you?
I don't really feel we completely paid off the whole mutation storyline.
Okay.
That's one of the elements of like, I don't know if we needed that in with all the other things. I think, like, sure, he can wrestle with being Peter or Spider-Man, but we don't need the mutation thing when we're, also like doing all these other things. And you were right. They lied to us about Jean. They did lie.
Of course. Right.
So,
well, they have to. They have to lie to us about something. They have to keep something secret.
Andy, I think
you have his friends, and like we get MJ and Ned and like the memory stuff from last time, and him wrestling Peter or Spider-Man, and then we have the main plot, and then on top of all that, we get the mutation stuff, which I'm like, maybe it felt a little messy to me.
Yeah.
Andy, I think
Kurt, go ahead.
The mutation stuff, they said it was triggered by a traumatic event, which was him seeing his friends again. And I think getting that part resolved is what, tampered it a bit, plus the device he was wearing. That said, we're not done with it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Well, I'll jump in and I'm going to echo some of the things I bitched about in the other films. How does Peter have all this tech and what does he do for work that he has a place to live and all these different computers and shit? Did I totally miss that? Is he because he can't be the recipient of some money Tony Stark left for him because nobody knows who he is. So how is he getting by? Or does he have one of those great night jobs where he's like some tech genius who does it, works throughout the night and, makes a huge salary and so he can work from home? Man, did I miss something? I've seen the movie twice. Did I miss why he has all this life?
They didn't say anything about that.
Okay. So it's just to give up your suspension of disbelief. That was my biggest rub. I also don't really see how Jean could have I guess it makes sense that she just could have slipped away because she can use her powers to hide herself and then get on that bus, which is obviously going north to Salem Center. Everybody knows where that bus is going, right? I mean, it's headed, you can see the Hudson River Valley to the left. She's going to Westchester County. She's going to the X-Men. So she obviously hooked up with Chuck, but there's got to be an end game to the nonstop blood and carnage that she caused. Yeah, but there's got to be something that like some kind of consequence. So is that going to be a part of that first X-Men movie, where they're like, okay, X-Men, we love you, but we're going to put Jean Grey in jail. We're going to bury her under the jail for everything she's done. Because, she did a lot of bad shit. So, yeah, but Andy, please.
I just want to ask some questions about her backstory. Because this is the first time I've ever been introduced to Jean Grey as anything other than a part of the X-Men and like an established part of the X-Men. So like her sister, and like I got more Rogue vibes than usual Jean Grey with her this time.
Right. And there was a rumored Rogue cameo with the girl in the bus when Peter flops onto the bus window. People were saying early on, because that was in the trailer, oh, that's Rogue. Oh, that's Rogue. There's really nothing to substantiate that. I don't know that anybody's come out and said that's definitely Rogue.
No, that's just a reference to almost every other Spider-Man movie. At least all the Tom Holland ones has had him smash against a bus and someone just sitting there with headphones. Like all of them do it. So,
or don't forget in Andy Garfield, the first one, Stan Lee as the librarian listening to his music, and he and the lizard are tearing the room up behind him.
Yeah, and there was one where Stan Lee was the one sitting in the bus, and they did that. So this is just continuing the trope.
This is just more bus related humor. Yeah. I understand. All right. Anybody else? Any other glaring plot holes before we move on to kind of final thoughts?
Sarah, is she new?
Oh, answer about Sarah. God, look at that. I got diverted. Sarah, I looked it up, and maybe Kurt knows more. Sarah was introduced, and I think it was X-Men, like maybe 136, 137, which was around the Dark Phoenix time, because I was reading on it this morning. But the character was in that one issue, was gone forever, came back, and then was killed off. and may have had some latent powers, but never did anything besides get killed. It was kind of what I got out of.
Aware of this character.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got out of Marvel Wiki. Kurt, do you have any deeper recollection than what I said?
You said it best, Charlie. She was Jean's sister. If she had powers, they weren't revealed, or at least they weren't overt. But that said, there is a character in the Marvel Universe named Sarah Gray. That wasn't a movie thing. That was well, canon, I guess. But they just really messed up Jean's origin story. And you know what? I'm not going to cry about it. It's what could.
It was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine.
One other thing I wanted to add. I thought with him fighting the hand ninjas, they were going to save Daredevil, but I was wrong. It would have been nice.
That was what I think a lot of us thought that running up, because you saw that in the trailer, and then they showed that very early shot of from when the big montage in the beginning with him jumping off of the building at the hand ninjas, and all of my analysis videos I watched, guys were like, well, if you look, this guy is looking down, but there's nothing down there. So I think Daredevil was there and digitally erased. Like, people were losing their shit over it, and then they're in the prison, which is where we know that's where Daredevil ended up.
That's what got everyone going, including me. I thought, okay, he's going to get DB out.
But sticking Daredevil in again, it would have been one. It would be like J. Jonah Jameson. It'd be one thing too many.
Yeah.
So it's like they kind of balanced it. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Let's fly this in for a landing. Final thoughts, Peter. We'll go Peter, and then we'll go across. Peter, your final thoughts.
I thought that this was for me, it was a good follow up to No Way Home. Because it wasn't like the main part of the plot, but it directly addressed the stupid decisions that Peter made in that film, and had it hasn't resolved. They're making more films, so they don't have to resolve all the relationship stuff out yet. Besides in the comics and the other films, like Peter's relationship with everybody is always complicated.
Right,
so,
it's complicated.
So I'm curious to see where they go with that. But I did think that was handled fairly well, especially with how like the scene between him and MJ, where there's the confrontation, like the scene when they're working on the equipment. That's fun, and that shows the dynamics of the characters pretty well. But then when there's the confrontation, and then there's the hey, come meet Ned, and there's that rekindling of the relationship, kind of. Not directly, but they're getting there. I thought that was a good follow-up, even with the consequences of the last film taken into account. Right. So it didn't erase everything right at the beginning of oh, well, I fixed it. There's still consequences that go through. And so I thought that doing that was a really, really good choice. The Dark Phoenix, well, she's not Dark Phoenix yet, but they did have kind of a Dark Phoenix-ish.
But she's on her way.
So I thought that was interesting, because we went from telepathy, and then we brought in the telekinesis and all of that. I'm not entirely sure what I think of this version of the character yet. I liked her, but I just don't know. I'm not familiar with too many versions of Jean Grey, so I'm just I'm waiting it out. We'll see what I think ultimately.
He's in wait and see mode.
Yeah, but I did just about everything else, and I enjoyed all the character dynamics. Frank especially was Frank and Yelena kind of stole the scenes that they were in.
Yeah.
And so they were just fun to have. So
yeah, totally.
Even though I didn't get JJ, I got some characters that I was just outside of the main leads, it was I just love when these people are on screen. And Spider-Man movies always need somebody who's just going to steal the scene for whatever really short amount they're there.
Yeah. So. And Yelena delivers, without doubt. Andy.
Yeah, a very good movie, even though I think it took on a little bit more than was, good for it. Got a little too ambitious, maybe. But good movie, slightly messy. I enjoyed it.
That's good. Good deal. Kurt.
I enjoyed it, and I think it goes to show that Marvel needed this. Marvel has not really had a bona fide big hit since Endgame. Yes, they've had movies here and there, like Thunderbolts was a good movie, but it didn't do well at the box office.
Right.
this
And
is a good movie, and it's doing well.
Fantastic
at the box
Four with
office.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it needed
Enjoyed
this.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And the thing,
Yeah, totally.
And the thing is, too, people don't go out to the movies anymore. Bullshit.
$1 billion global opening weekend. I mean, it's kissing that. It could be real close.
Yeah.
At the very least, $750 million. It'll be way over that.
And this is a
That's
movie
incredible.
I will definitely see again on the big screen because, I haven't seen a Marvel movie twice on the big screen since Endgame.
Same. Well, I went and saw, I think, Multiverse of Madness twice because I needed to kill a few hours because it was in between something and I couldn't get home. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be out for a few hours. I might as well just go see this. But I didn't love it. And I loved this movie. This, like I said, this kind of it gave me absolutely everything kind of that I always wanted, going back to the 10-year-old me going into Argos books and buying my first back issues where I'm reading, the Gary Conway, Ross Andrew 70s Spider-Man, and then, getting into the 80s stuff without a doubt. So yeah, everything that I ever needed. They downplayed all the fantastical stuff. He was equipped with tech, but it wasn't the thing that was the end all be all of the character, which I loved. So they did a lot of really great stuff with the time they have. They dug deep. They had a lot of really emotional, they took Peter from the bottom all the way kind of to the top, and the way that he feels that it really is a brand new day. He's finally letting go of the past and moving forward into the future, and reforging those two lost relationships instead of just lamenting them, So he's just trying to, and at the same time embracing, his own changing body. It sounds like he's going into puberty. I love it how in the one scene he's sitting there with Evie, and Evie, who is his AI, is voiced by Naomi Watts, who's an Australian actress who's been in The Ring and a bunch of other stuff. But one of the screens is a spider molting, and he's like, "Oh God, can you please turn off that spider stuff?"
And it's narrated by Keith David, which I thought was
narrated by Keith David, which Peter picked up on.
Okay,
Keith David, absolutely awesome character actor. Please, Kurt.
One thing about Edie, that was Edith. Even dead, I am the hero.
No, that's Edith. No, this one was EV, Echo Victor.
Oh, I don't know what the. Okay, I thought.
No, that was in the that was 2 films back.
Oh, okay.
The glasses.
I thought it was Edie. That was the abbreviation.
Nope, just
okay.
Yeah, just Evie. It was even in the credits. So that was, and it was Naomi Watts. So where he got that and why he has money, that's sticking in my craw. I'm sure it'll end up being explained away by somebody.
The Bugle, Charlie, come on.
I guess, yeah, because that's something people can actually make money doing. All right, let's blast through some trivia. As always, this film is dedicated to the memory of Kurt. You'll appreciate this, of comic book writer Gary Conway, the co-creator of The Punisher. First appeared in ASM 129, who left us just earlier this year.
Jerry.
What did I say?
Gary. His name's Jerry.
Well, that's not Gary. Gary was the little slug that was SpongeBob's pet. That's very different. Peter and I appreciated this. There's a scene from Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, briefly seen on one of Ned's computer screen. The scene is where the Snow Walker trips and falls on Hoth, is the exact scene Spider-Man references during the airport battle in Captain America Civil War in 2016.
I thought that was a great little
awesome
nod.
Unsurprising, Tom Holland sustained an injury, resulting in a concussion during filming, sending him to the hospital and requiring to take a few days break for a precaution. That's good. I'm sure any number of the things he got tossed into, because so much of this film, and if you watch any of the making of backstory stuff that you see out there on YouTube, it's a lot of swinging him around on wires. That's how they did it. And, and I love how some of the videos dug into how his suit was practical. He's wearing a unitard leotard, which is something that Yelena kind of gives him a hard time for, as opposed to the other films where his suit is obviously fancied up by CGI. So just really added to that realness of it for me. So I might pick the shirt up myself from my friend Ryan Aries' Screen Crush store, but the Delmar's Deli t-shirt I really have a special spot for, even though I'm not a huge t-shirt guy, but I like that. But he's seen wearing that as he's sitting around the house. I was trying to figure out if he was going back in and out of that shop when he was buying the flowers, but they never show it. I don't know, because that got blown up in that movie, but it doesn't mean it didn't.
It looked like it could
again.
have been, but I didn't get a good look at the counter to be able to tell.
Gotcha.
Actually, no, they had. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to dig a little deeper. Marvin Jones III appears in a cameo as Crime Lord Tombstone. Jones previously voiced a version of the character in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. which, God, great character. And they even, Kurt, you'll appreciate that, recreated one of the visuals of from a copy of or an issue of the Spectacular Spider-Man where he's standing on top of a girder and holding Spider-Man off. And then Spider-Man flips the script on that one.
Yeah.
So this film continues the MCU trend of matching Spider-Man with a mentor figure, Iron Man, then Nick Fury, then Doctor Strange, and an antagonist in green, the Vulture, Mysterio, and the Green Goblin. This film obviously has Spider-Man outside Bruce Banner and the Hulk, who combines the two. I was waiting for the Hulk to kind of turn green or gray, because that's a little bit more of the Savage Hulk or kind of the original Hulk, but it just looked green to me the whole time. I don't know.
Charlie, if I can piggyback on the Hulk, since you brought him up. In the 70s, Spidey and the Hulk were Marvel's flagship characters. Maybe we can throw in Cap.
Because they were on TV.
Yeah,
the first two anyway.
Yeah, they were on TV. And it was just nice to see them together in some way. This is before Wolverine became mega famous.
Yeah, the big cash cow. And Wolverine, in case Andy and Peter don't know, is a character originated in the pages of The Incredible Hulk. Issue 180, cameo, 181, full appearance. So, yeah, one of the more valuable comics that's still out there. And then lastly, boy, this is a long one. Liza Conlon-Zayas is the sixth member of From the Bear to appear in a Marvel project. John Bernthal plays the Punisher in Daredevil, Punisher, and blah, 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 blah. And in this movie, Eben Moss-Backrack plays Microchip in The Punisher 2017 and Ben Grimm in The Fantastic Four and Doomsday. Will Poulter played Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Ayo Edebiri plays Glory in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That one went over my head. And Olivia Colman plays Sonia Farnsworth in a show that we won't name. No, it's A Secret Invasion, which if you've not watched it, please don't. Please don't. We can use a Doctor Strange spell to make it disappear. Yes, please. Gigantic thumbs down. All right, that's it, folks. If you've sat all the way through this, even though we said it was a spoiler cast, but you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie. Go see the movie twice. Go see an IMAX if you want to. I'm not a big IMAX guy. Kurt, did you see it in regular Max?
Mm-hmm, I did.
Yeah. I don't know. Andy, is IMAX a thing overseas much, or is it?
Not at the theater I go to.
Okay, gotcha. And then Peter and I saw it in regular Max last night, and then again April and I went and saw it on Thursday. Our theater here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, has one of the true IMAX screens, and that's great. But they also don't have the comfortable seats, that's my deal. That's my deal breaker. I like to be comfortable, not like crammed into the old squares. I know that's
the sardine tins from back in the day.
That's kind of sad, but that's just kind of where I'm living. But yeah, God, good stuff. All right, well, that's our show. Yeah, go see the movie. Kurt, how do people get in touch with you out there if they want to talk Spider-Man?
I'm on Facebook. Pretty simple. Kurt Anthony Krug. That's it.
I like it. Andy?
Andy94 on Blue Sky is where you'll find me.
Excellent. And Peter?
You can find me around most social medias at Petrus Aquinas. I don't say much, but if you say I want to talk Spider-Man, I'll probably say something.
Something could happen from it. And I run the social medias for Secret Friends Unite, which you can find on all places except for X and TikTok for the most part. And then my personal social media is at the C3, TheCeeThree. I also sporadically jump in and do my 3-minute kitchen chats where I talk about stuff that I don't get to cover on the shows. You can find those on our YouTube channel and all of our socials. But also drop us a line at secretfriendsunite@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought about this movie. We'd love to talk about that on a future program. And then, track us down on socials, drop us anywhere. And then secretfriendsunite.com is our website. Patreon.com/secretfriendsunite is the place to find all of our bonus content and support the show. But thanks for tuning in. I'm going to tell you as always that sharing is caring and to keep on trucking.
With great power comes great responsibility.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.